Hello everybody and welcome back to more political chatter. In this video we will be talking about my first election prediction between President Joe Biden, Donald Trump, the presumptive Republican nominee, as well as the fullest conscious baby, of course the Four Seasons Orlando baby. And in this case, her name is Kate, if she were to jump in to the presidential race as an independent candidate. Now, that would really shake things up before we get into the state-by-state election prediction. In our five-way matchup between Trump, Biden, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., who's another independent, as well as Jill Stein of the Green Party, and Cornel West, another independent, between all of these five candidates, it's already pretty split. We see that the two main nominees, the Republican and the Democrat, Trump and Biden, they're only both at around 40%, right, rather than the 50% that they should be in a normal contest. But, with this dissatisfaction with the two-party system, we already have a lot of, very strong support for independent and third-party candidates. That's why you see RFK Jr. at 10.4%. So the fully conscious baby getting into this race as another independent would further split this electorate. I mean, these numbers would be split like we have never seen before. And I don't know if you guys know this, but if nobody crosses 270 electoral votes, which is the majority of electoral college votes, then the election gets thrown to the House of Representatives. And with the fully conscious baby, if she were to run, this is a hypothetical scenario, her being very strong of a candidate, much stronger than Kennedy and Jill Stein and Cornel West. I mean, the fully conscious baby holds knowledge and power. I mean, they are rumored to have been around for centuries, alive for centuries. They have, knowledge and power like we have never seen before on planet Earth, and she is a force to reckon with. So we don't know exactly, this is a very difficult prediction because we don't know exactly what she knows yet. But we do know that, with all of these candidates, all very strong, maybe no one gets 270 electoral votes. So we'll start with our safe states. So these states are decided by a higher than 15% margin. So obviously, the most obvious of them all, Four Seasons Orlando baby wins the state of Florida. Of course, Orlando. In Florida, that will go, fully conscious baby wins upwards of 90% of the vote there. I also think that the fully conscious baby will do very well in the larger urban areas, especially where there are, tourist attractions like there are, like similar to Four Seasons, in Orlando. So my point is, like Disney in Florida, people around Disney, in California, I meant, not Florida, they will have a strong, personal, deep connection with the fully conscious baby. And I think that a state like California would be very happy to cast their vote for fully conscious baby, giving them a big victory there. Now, I also think, Four Seasons Orlando. And then there's the famous Four Seasons Total Landscaping, right, in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, where Rudy Giuliani gave that famous press conference in 2020. I think that hands Pennsylvania to fully conscious baby. So fully conscious baby starts off with three very strong states: California, Florida, and Pennsylvania. That is a good start for the fully conscious baby. Now, as for Joe Biden, we have some safe Democratic states, states that, and he's a fully conscious baby, by the way, in case you don't know him or her. But there are states where neither Trump or Biden will really come close, and that's, for a multitude of reasons. But, a state like Illinois, neither Trump or the fully conscious baby really have much connection here. And I think that Massachusetts is a little of a stretch for fully conscious baby, as well as Vermont. I think that stays with him, and Maine's 1st congressional district. And then as for Donald Trump, the fully conscious baby, her downfall will be the rural areas, because these are going to be very hard for her to capture. I mean, she fully conscious baby will run her campaign, around these, as I was saying, urban areas with high tourist, high, whatever, popular tourist destinations. That's what I was trying to think of. So, states like Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, the Dakotas, Nebraska, Fully Conscious Baby doesn't have really all that much of a shot here. But as you go more down south, around Florida, then she starts to have a chance. Iowa, I honestly think, even though it's likely in 2020, Biden versus Trump, I think that one would become safe. Because Fully Conscious Baby ultimately does probably steal more votes away from Biden than Trump. That's just what my thoughts are right now. West Virginia, definitely. Kentucky, probably. Indiana, all stay safe Democratic. And I forgot one, being Hawaii. Many tourists here. Big tropical area. So that's it for safe states. Now we move into likely states. And I do want to say that, Orlando, right about here, right? And I do think that the Fully Conscious Baby will be able to perform very well. Being from Four Seasons Orlando, will be able to do very well on the Atlantic coast. You know, with these beaches, very similar to Four Seasons Orlando. She will have a very strong connection to these voters. And these likely states, they're a bit closer, but I think that she will easily be able to win states like South Carolina with Myrtle Beach, states like Virginia with Virginia Beach, North Carolina with, of course, Outer Banks. These shouldn't be very difficult victories for the Fully Conscious Baby there. And then New Jersey, definitely an example. You've got Ocean City, you've got Jersey City. So New Jersey, honestly, I would say that New Jersey could actually be a safe state for the Fully Conscious Baby. And then Maryland is tough because you've got some more Democratic support. You've got very strong Democratic support, and most of the vote does come in around Washington D.C., near Baltimore, or not Baltimore, but around Washington D.C., which isn't exactly on the coast. So I would say that Maryland is pretty close, but Delaware, you've got a pretty small population there. Mostly on the coast. Fully Conscious Baby wins Delaware. Biden wins D.C., though. That's a safe Democratic state. I don't see that how really either Trump or the Fully Conscious Baby could chip away votes there. And then you've got, these Midwestern states like Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan, and Ohio. These are tough. These are definitely going to be tough for the Fully Conscious Baby. And I would say that Trump does hold on to his numbers. In a state like Ohio, he performed pretty well there in 2020. I think that it stays with Donald Trump. And these are going to be all close states: Wisconsin, Michigan. But Minnesota definitely does have a very rich Democratic history. I would put that as a lean Democratic state as of now. But as for Wisconsin, Wisconsin, I currently have it going tilt for Donald Trump in the head-to-head, and honestly, I don't see Fully Conscious Baby pulling too many votes, but where he does is along the coast, right, along the body of water, along Lake Michigan, that's where the Democratic votes are. So I would actually hand Wisconsin to Trump, but Fully Conscious Baby does also do well in Michigan, and that's because of the coastline. So much water surrounding Michigan, and what do you know? Most of the cities are on the bodies of water, are along the coast. That ultimately takes votes away from Biden, and Michigan also flips to Trump. Not good so far for the Biden campaign at all. Now let's move over to the Northeast. We're just going everywhere in this video. Inland, Maine second, that stays with Trump, but Maine at large, you see Fully Conscious Baby doesn't win Maine's first or Maine's second, but I think that that overall, considering the margins in the districts, this will be a very narrow Biden victory. As for Connecticut, not enough coastline. It's very Democratic. That I would give to Biden by a likely margin. However, Rhode Island is a different story. You've got major, what's it called? Newport, major city in Rhode Island that would give Fully Conscious Baby victory there. And then New York will be very close, and it's very important, so we'll leave New York as for now. Let's say New Hampshire stays with Biden by a lean margin. And I do think that Fully Conscious Baby does end up winning the state of Maryland, but I do think it's really close. We have high Democratic population here. However, if Fully Conscious Baby does have the knowledge to build enough of a coalition here, then she can then she would be able to carry the state. Um, as for Georgia, yes, it carries Florida, but I do wonder how the fully conscious baby will do among African American voters. It does worry me. I don't feel that they would feel as much of a deep personal connection with the Four Seasons Orlando baby, as wine moms in the suburbs of Philadelphia might, right? So, that should worry the fully conscious baby, and I would actually give Georgia to Donald Trump, considering the head-to-head polling between Biden and Trump right now. And that goes for a lot of these southern states. Alabama is likely, considering its proximity, to Florida, but Mississippi. I guess I would say likely, but Tennessee definitely a safe state. Missouri safe. Arkansas safe. But Louisiana, I do think that fully conscious baby could perform well here. Considering its coastline, so I think that one's pretty close, but I would put it lean for Trump. So Texas is a very important state. If fully conscious baby could win here, then that really boosts her chances in the election. However, I don't see it. When you look at the cities, Austin, Dallas, Houston. Houston is the closest to the coast, and that's not even on the coast, right? It's pretty inland, so we don't have any high population cities that are on the coast. So I do think that this gets close, but I don't think that fully conscious baby will do well, really in the cities or in the rural areas. So Texas, I would give to Trump. However, Colorado, high progressive population here, younger voters too. Lots of younger voters in Colorado, lots of people moving to Colorado. So I think that should be a likely state for the fully conscious baby. New Mexico, I doubt gets that close. I would put it lean for Biden right now. Utah is tough because there are a lot of tourists, but then again, the tourists don't vote in. I don't know. I guess there are not a lot of tourists in Utah. So, Utah, I would say likely Democratic state. But honestly, actually, we have a high Mormon population in Utah. And I feel like these deeply religious voters would value, the knowledge of a president, and just the cunning knowledge, right, in a president. And the fully conscious baby would really embody that. So I would actually say that Utah goes to the fully conscious baby by safe margin, and there are a lot of Mormons in Idaho, so I'm changing my rating in Idaho to likely for the fully conscious baby. So I don't know if anyone could get 270 as of right now, but currently, I didn't even realize this, but Donald Trump is actually beating the fully conscious baby right now with his Texas win. I think that given Florida's high Latino population, I think that the fully conscious baby will perform well among Latinos. I definitely think that is very apparent. That goes for California, that goes for Florida, that goes for Texas. That's why it's so close. And that also goes for critical swing states, Arizona and Nevada. I think that the fully conscious baby can win Arizona by a lean margin and Nevada actually by a likely margin. And then you've got Oregon and not West Virginia, Washington. Oregon, high progressive population, young population. Oregon goes likely for the fully conscious baby. Washington, not so much. There are around Seattle, and honestly, Seattle. Much of the vote comes from Seattle, right on the coastline. So, but it is very Democratic, so I'd say that Washington is likely. Alaska stays with Trump. And then you've got New York. So no one can win 270. So the election would go to the House. But in New York, I was saving it because I think it will be incredibly close. But there is Lego World, a Lego World thing in New York City. And there's a Legoland, not Lego World, Legoland, which is Disney's thing, right? Disney owns Legoland. And of course, there's a Disney in Florida. Florida is known for Disney. I think given that connection, fully conscious baby will be able to eke out a very narrow win by a tilt margin, less than 1% margin, in New York. Not to mention the wine moms in Long Island. Those wine moms will carry fully conscious baby to victory there. Nebraska's second goes to Biden by lean margin. So at the end of the day, fully conscious baby is so close to 270. Fully conscious baby wins 261 electoral votes Donald Trump wins 211. Joe Biden finishes abysmally with just 66 electoral votes. So, a very close race, but no one reaches 270 and the election goes to the House. So thank you all for watching this video. I really hope you all enjoyed. It helps a lot if you subscribe, become a member. That helps out a lot also. And drop a like, and I'll see you all later.